Yokoso minna, welcome back to the channel. We're continuing our discussion on the Piccolo Daimao Hen, or the chapter of the Great Demon King Piccolo. I hope there are some Piccolo fans here, because we're going to learn a lot more about the character, his background, and the various names that are attached to him. So without further ado, let's go. Igeze! Okay, so tankoubon volume number 12, the continuation of the Piccolo Daimao Hen, or the chapter of the Great Demon King Piccolo. And things are getting started here. We have Kulilin, who got killed actually, and a note was left next to his body, and as Kami-sennin takes a look at it, he shivers. So we see katakana on the screen here, where he's holding the paper. Puru-puru. Puru-puru means it's an onomatopoeia where Japanese people indicate something is shaking or shivering. Puru-puru. Some of you who are old enough might remember the old Sega Genesis. No, it was Sega Saturn, was it? Anyway, it was a Sega console. And we didn't have controllers yet, game controllers that could rumble with the rumble function. And you had a separate pack that you needed to buy called the Puru-puru pack. Hence the name also, Puru-puru, something that shakes, shivers, rumbles. So in this case, he's shaking out of fear, because he says, Masaka, sonna, it can't be. This, so clearly indicating his consternation as he looks at the kanji, and the kanji is read as ma, and ma means devil or demon. It's the kanji or the symbol used by Piccolo Daimao, and we're introduced to him in the manga quite quickly, as we see him here in his airship. Piccolo Daimao. Piccolo is written in katakana. It's a loan word of a musical instrument. And Dai, the kanji, the first kanji, means great or big. Ma means demon or devil. And O means king. So the great demon king Piccolo. And the piccolo is a kind of flute, a small flute with which you can see here on the screen. And which is called just Piccolo in Japanese, the way his name is written. And you will see that his entire entourage has their names taken from musical instruments. Here I'm making a little sidestep on the story side, because we see a couple of panels where Pilaf Ichimi, so Pilaf and his gang, are talking with Piccolo Daimao, and they're talking about the Dragon Balls. And what's kind of interesting here is that Piccolo Daimao didn't seem to know about the Dragon Balls and the fact that they could grant a wish if you gathered all 7 of them. This is quite peculiar, because it shows that later on, as Toriyama-sensei enlarged the Dragon Ball mythos, he attributed more background story to this character, because the Dragon Balls originally came from the Namek Seijin, or the Namek-jin, so the people who are from Namek, the race that Piccolo Daimao is actually from. Spoiler, but I think everybody already knows that. And so, for all intents and purposes, Piccolo Daimao should actually be aware of something like Dragon Balls, because it's actually his former self that created them, as it's something he remembered from his previous his previous stay at his home planet, where you have the Namek version of the Dragon Balls. But here, clearly, there's an indication. Indirect as it may be, that he wasn't aware of the Dragon Balls, because he talks about, so subete o atsumereba donna negai mo kanau ka. So if I gather all 7 of them, whichever wish will be granted, right? He says. And then Pilaf actually confirms that. He says, "Soyu koto desu." He says, "Yeah, that's correct. That's right." And a bit further, the last panel, he says, "Sarani," the last part, さらに Dragon Ball の秘密も. So we also told you about the secret of the Dragon Balls. So this clearly indicates that Piccolo Daimao wasn't aware of the Dragon Ball's existence and how you can use them, which kind of contradicts the later enlarged background story of him being Namek Seijin, a person from Namek. Here we're getting introduced to the backstory of Kame Sennin's master as well. He was the master of actually both Kame Sennin and Tsuru Sennin, hence the rivalry between the two. And his name was Mutaito. Now, I looked up the meaning of his name, and there are actually two versions of the interpretation of his name. The first one, or the first interpretation by Japanese fans, is that we need to look at the last part of his name, the last two kanji, Taito, which actually means Aogi sonke sareru hito. So a person that is respected and revered. So somebody people look up to. Respectable, revered person. That's if we just take the last two kanji and we take the Japanese meaning behind it. A second hypothesis is that we take the whole name together, we split it up, and we turn it into a phrase. So the first kanji, mu, we've already encountered, mu or bu, from Budokai, Tenkaichi Budokai, so the same bu is the same mu here, means martial arts or fighting. So, budo ni kansuru, so somebody in reference to martial arts. Taizan Hokuto. Now, Taizan Hokuto is actually the last two kanji of his name. We insert two other kanji, and Taizan Hokuto originally is a mountain range in China, and this is the Japanese pronunciation of the mountain range. But in Japanese, it has also gotten the nuance or the additional meaning of a person who is a pioneer or who is like a very professional person. Taizan Hokuto. So somebody, you can kind of imagine a pioneer, somebody who climbs a certain mountain for the first time. I guess that's where the meaning comes from. So if we put it all together, it would mean that he is the pioneer of martial arts. That would also make a lot of sense, because here we have Kame Sennin, who is by many considered to be the strongest martial artist at the beginning of the Dragon Ball story. So his master would be the pioneer in that field. Also, a person people look up to that is revered, since he was the one that originally defeated Piccolo Daimao, so that would also make sense. So I think both interpretations both interpretations work. I couldn't find any definitive answer from Toriyama-sensei's interviews, nor from the reference works. So I guess, both hypotheses work, and both are equally valid. So in the manga here, we then see both Tsuru Sennin and Kame Sennin together with their master as he had defeated Piccolo Daimao, and it's fun to note that even when they were young, they were already bald, both of them. Okay, moving back to Piccolo Daimao, one of his subordinates is called Tambarin, and Tambarin is just literally, the word means this kind of musical instrument. So this kind of instrument is actually called in Japanese exactly the same, tambarin. So here we will also see that Toriyama-sensei doesn't get very creative. He just takes the names of musical instruments as they are and uses them for these characters. Later, as he makes his army or his group of subordinates grow, we see symbol appear, simbaru, from the English word, a cymbal, as you can see here on the screen, also a music instrument. And another one, which we'll see later, is his right-hand subordinate, or his advisor, which you can see here on the screen as well. He's also named after a musical instrument, which we'll see later. But first he talks about, Piccolo Daimao talks about his Mazoku. That's quite interesting. We see the same character again, or the same kanji again. Ma, meaning demon or devil. Zoku is added, and Zoku means a family or a tribe. So Waga Mazoku no Senshi. So Senshi means fighter. So the fighter from my demon tribe or my devil tribe. That works really well as a translation. All his subordinates are actually offspring of him. They are all born through his eggs that he actually vomits up, so to speak. And he calls his tribe or his family, so to speak, Mazoku. So here it works both ways, right? You can look at it as a tribe, but you can also look at it as a family, because they're direct descendants, so to speak, of Piccolo Daimao. And first we get Yajirobe. Yajirobe is actually quite interesting. He's a bit of a pochari, as they say in Japanese, or rather fat samurai. And when he's standing with his arms stretched out, he kind of looks like a Yajirobe. And a Yajirobe, as you see written down below, in kanji this time, because his name is written in katakana, you would think it's a loan word, but actually it references a native Japanese word called Yajirobe. And Yajirobe is actually a very old Japanese toy, which you can see on the screen here. And you see it's written Yajirobe. You have like two arms, so to speak, hanging out, a face, and then the goal of the game was to have it balance on the tip of your finger. And if you look closely, Yajirobe, and if you look at the character from Dragon Ball, Yajirobe, when he stands like this with his arms next to him opened, he kind of looks like that kind of toy. So I think that's where Toriyama-sensei got the idea of calling him Yajirobe. Maybe a toy Toriyama-sensei also knew in his youth. That's quite possible. But anyway, his name comes from the toy here. And with that, we've finished that volume. We're moving on to the next volume, Tankoubon volume 13 already. And here finally we see the advisor to Piccolo Daimao is called Piano. And that's quite easy. That's just a piano. That's exactly the same word in English. Japanese have taken over a lot of English words from music instruments, as they didn't have a word for them in their native language. So here as well, a piano in Japanese written in katakana. So they assault the king of the world, so to speak, and the place of his residence, which is called King Castle. Now, King comes from the English king. Castle comes from castle, so it's the Japanese transcription of the English word king castle. Maybe interesting to see is their uniforms also have the KC. It's not referencing any kind of food chain or anything. It's from King Castle, actually written in English this time. In order to get stronger, Son Goku goes back to Karin-sama, where he gets revitalized thanks to Senzu. And this time, Karin-sama talks about the Cho Shinsui. Now, we've already encountered the Cho Seisui during his first time when he was here and training, the super holy water. It was just water, actually, and the fact that he got stronger was because he was chasing Karin-sama, trying to get the flask or the bottle. But the water itself, there wasn't anything particular about it. It was just normal water called Cho Seisui. And now he's talking about Cho Shinsui. So we see the same characters. The first one, Cho, meaning super. The last character or kanji, sui, meaning water, and the middle character is changed from sei, holy, to shin, and shin means god or godly. So the super god water or the super godly water, and this time the water does have a peculiar effect where when you drink it, you either die or you unlock your potential. And you can see the container here on the head of Karin-sama. It's actually a teapot with that same kanji on it, shin or kami, meaning God. And with that, we finished these tankoubon volumes. Please join me next time as we continue the Piccolo Daimyo Hen chapter. If you're interested in reading the manga either in English or in Japanese, or as a collector you just want to have the Japanese version, there are affiliate links below from Amazon, both the American side and the Japanese side. Please feel free to check them out and join me next time as we continue. Take care, Jane, bye. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell and sound off in the comments. And hey, while you're here, why not check out another video?